Hi. So today's practice is mostly going to be focused on spinal flexion. So we are going to be increasing the mobility of the spine, and as a result we find lift and expansion in the front part of the body. So we'll feel length in the abdominal region and openness in the chest, the shoulders drawing back and down towards each other. So the shoulder blades want to draw back down towards each other at the back of the body, and that will help the spine lift up. As you come into your spinal flexions, you also want to think about perhaps the sense of lift in the rib cage. So instantly when you lift the rib cage away from the hips, then you can feel your chest lifting up, and already you're able to arch your back just ever so slightly. So I just want to start with a couple of practices on the floor before we get heated through the bodies. Very important to generate heat before we go into back bends, because we're ever so used to being sat like this. So to correct our postures, it's really, really nice to draw ourselves into, first of all, an upright position, and then we'll go into the back bends a little bit more deeply. So when you're seated in this cross-legged position, what I'd like you to do is imagine that you've got some really tight jeans on, and you feel like your navel is being drawn inwards and upwards. So you already have a sense of lift in the torso, in the trunk, in the abdomen. And take a few breaths here and connect in with the pelvic floor muscles as well. So you really need strength in the inner abdomen here, in the inner body, in the inner self, to have the courage to muster up some of these back bends. All right, inhale, feel the lift. And then what I'd like you to do is exhale and reach forwards a little bit. But as you reach forwards, you're not rounding the back, you have a slight flexion already. So already a sense of that back bend coming into your practice. If you hold on to the knees and draw your upper body forwards and feel the lift through the chest, maybe even walk the palms forwards a little bit and lift the body away from the hips. Lift the arms up. Feel the length in the back body. Feel the length in the front body. So you're really lifting up away from the pelvis. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. And release the palms back down to the ground. Draw the knees into the chest and then place the soles of the feet down onto the mat. And what we're going to do is roll down and practice a few spinal rolls in bridge. So you want your feet about hip width apart and just tickle the heels. Okay. Now I'd like you, as you inhale, to feel the breath in the back body. Exhale and let all the air release, and check where there's tension held. So if it's in the shoulders, even if it's in the feet, all the places that make good contact with the earth, see if you can release them nicely into the ground. And then I'd like you to start to inhale. So first of all, you tilt the pelvic bones. So the back of the pelvis is the first thing that lifts off the mat. And then you draw up, the navel lifts, tuck the chin, keep the knees drawing towards each other, as if they've got some sort of magnetic attraction. They don't touch, they're just drawing towards each other. And the knees draw away from you. You find length in the front body. Lovely. And then exhale down. So can you repeat this a couple of times? I'd like you to do this with your eyes closed. So sensing, feeling all the way through the body. Inhale, start to curl the pelvis up away from the mat. Keep your lifting sensation through the hips and the chest as you tuck the chin slightly when you come up to the top of your bridge. The knees keep drawing together, and I'd like you to hold it there for a few breaths. Push down your palms into the earth. See if that helps. If you'd like to interlace the fingers underneath the back, you're ready to find a bit more openness. That's there through the shoulders too. Enjoy that. So your eyes are closed and you are feeling. So come back to the points where you're making contact with the ground. I have a tendency to lift the insides of my feet off the mat, so I'm making sure that I'm planting down my big toes, the insides, the bridges of my feet, the insides of the heels. And then when you're ready, release slowly back to the ground. One more time, again, eyes closed. You do what feels right to you. So if you feel like it, you can also lift the arms up over the head. You can extend the arms out long. You can take hold of the opposite elbows. Come back to your alignment. Come back to your breath. If you do have your arms lifted over your head, you can keep them up there as you gently lower down vertebra by vertebra. You might feel yourselves releasing into different areas of the spine there that you were hitting before, because you're a bit more extended through the upper back. Lovely. Okay. When you've brought your hips down, you again keep your eyes closed and just draw the knees into the chest. Take hold of the opposite elbow around the knees. Draw the tailbone down into the mat. Inhale gently, exhale gently. And again, with your eyes closed, or if you just check that everything around you is got the space to do this, I'd like you to rock forwards and backwards just a little bit on your mat. Cross over the ankles, place the palms down and come up onto the knee. Put 2 fist width between the knees so that you've got hip width apart with the knees, and place the palms onto the lumbar spine. So where the crease in your back would be if you were able to bend really far back right now. I'm not asking you to do that. I'd like you to draw the chin down, lengthen the back of the neck. Inhale, draw tight up through the navel, and exhale, just lean back ever so slightly. Hold it there. Inhale, draw the arms up. Hold it there. 5, keep the hips pushing forwards. 4, 3, shoulders drawing down, as if the points at the bottom of your shoulder blades are meeting together. 2 and 1. Lovely. Draw the palms down. Place them underneath the shoulders and step the knees back to underneath the hips. So I'd like you just to wriggle out a little bit. And again, if you'd like to do this part of the practice with your eyes closed, you'll find that your focus goes inside into how you're feeling a little bit better. So first of all, exhale and let the belly really drop down to the earth. Maybe wriggle the hips so you loosen up through the lumbar region right the way through to the tailbone. And then inhale, look up and draw the chest through the arms. As you start to exhale, I'd like you to start again like we were in bridge. Start the movement from the pelvis. So tilt the pelvis, round it, and take the gaze to the navel. Push through the palms and feel the back broaden as you round it. Then inhale, let the chest drop down and the belly, then draw the chest through the arms. Look forwards and upwards. Careful to keep a little bit of length in the back of the neck. Then exhale, round. Come back to a neutral spine. And I'd like you to extend the left leg out behind you, just straight out behind you, and lift the right palm. Take the back of the palm and just check if your hips are level. So if your left hip is dropping down, see if you can engage your core and draw your left hip up a little bit. If it's raising up, relax that foot a bit. So if you point the toes down to the ground, your heel extends away from you, your glutes are nice and engaged. That makes it easier. Lengthen your right arm away. Then if you can, bend up your left foot, left knee, grab hold of your foot with your right hand and kick into your hand with your foot. So your quads are getting a stretch here And also you're getting external rotation in the right shoulder. Look up, look forwards, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. So keep that right leg engaged. Draw the knee into the chest and bring, so your left leg engaged, and draw your right elbow to meet the left leg, and maybe your forehead comes in to the left knee as well. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. Release it down. Shake it out. Wriggle the hips, and then extend the right leg back. Lift up, so toes point down, engage that right glute. Engage your abdominal to support the underside of your torso here. Spread your left arm forwards, then reach back. See if you can bend at your right knee. Take a hold of your right foot. Knee, fingers wrapping around the outside of the foot, and kick into the hand. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale. And then release the knee, draw the knee into the chest. The left elbow comes to meet the right knee and the forehead draws in, so you're really rounding. Place your palms down, tuck your toes, and send your hips back to your first downward facing dog. Walk that dog through. Inhale and come up onto the toes. And then exhale. See if you can just gradually, by increments, release the heels down a little bit with each breath. So each exhalation, release the heels down. Inhale. Exhale, release the heel. Inhale. Exhale, release the heels. So it doesn't matter if your heels hit the ground or not, that's not the point. But what is nice is when you give yourself a chance, when you measure yourself through your breath, you know that you've got somewhere to go. Take a couple more breaths here in your downward facing dog. Really draw attention and strength to the foundations of the pose. So in this case, the palms and the soles. Spread the weight through the palms, the base of the thumb and the base of the fingertip, the outside edge of the little finger. And the feet, the base of the little toe, the base of the big toe, the inside corner of the heel and the outside corner of the heel. At the base of your next exhalation, take your focus up to the top of the mat. Bend the knees and hop to the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, with your palms placed, you either step or hop to the back of the mat. Come into plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. So either cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. 3 breaths, so 2 more here. Count them, feel them, close your eyes. Where do you feel tense? What's changing in you? At the base of your 3rd breath, I'd like you to lift your right leg up and move it swoop, in between the front hands. Lower the left knee down, untuck the back toe. Inhale, rise up. Lovely. Draw your palms together into reverse prayer behind your back and feel how it lifts and opens through the chest. Draw the shoulders away from each other, the elbows backwards. Inhale. Exhale. Again, come to your foundations. Keep your inner thighs drawing together. At the base of the next exhalation, release the palms, place them on the front knee. Release your left palm down and see if you can reach back and take a hold of your left foot, the top side of your left foot with your left hand. If you can, and it's available to you, perhaps you can reach your right arm back. I'm interlacing my fingers. You may like to try that. You may prefer not to. And then we're going to inhale here. Whoop. That's what I'm calling, like, call attention to your foundation, right? You need to really ground down through the heel and the toes. Lift the chest, draw the elbows away from you. Inhale, draw the navel in and up. Draw the rib cage away from the pelvis. Exhale. Inhale, try not to look too far up and crunch the back of your neck. Okay, let's release that leg down. Step back into downward facing dog, but then come to plank. We're going to Chaturanga, so we lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step the left leg through, lower the right leg down. Inhale. Come up into your reverse prayer once again. See if you can draw your hips level with each other. The shoulders are also parallel to the front of the mat. Inhale and tuck the back toe. Draw the breath through the nose. See if you can exhale through the nose too. So keep the deep connection with the breath. You'll find with your practice and back bends, if you feel cut off from your back bend, you've gone a little bit too deep. So I'd like you to keep your 100% commitment and focus to your practice today, but maybe an 80% focus on the asana in terms of its depth. So bring yourself back from the edge, particularly when your breath feels short. Let's release that posture and come so that we can just lean up off the back leg and lift up that right leg. Catch with the right hand and potentially the left hand too. And then let the external rotation of the shoulders draw the chest open as you lean a bit of weight into the palms of the back hand. You let the leg be a bit heavy there and draw the chest in opposition to that momentum. So you feel a little stretch and lift through the front body. Again, just check that you're not crunching the back of the neck. And soften here. Feel that you're opening to things and you don't know what, right? This is courage. When you're open to whatever comes and you want to be equanimous, so have equanimity towards whatever comes. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. Lovely. So release hand by hand, one hand at a time. Place your palms back each side of the front leg. Tuck the back toes. Come back into downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Going to take another vinyasa. So Chaturanga, inhale into plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up behind you. See if you can keep your hips level and particularly your shoulders level to the front of the mat. Now I'd like you to lift your right leg up a little bit higher. See if you can stack your right hip on top of your left hip. Take your gaze a little bit underneath the right armpit, but try and keep your shoulders level to the front of the mat. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper so you can get a bit more bend in the torso. Your shoulders might go a bit more skew now. Going to bend at the right knee. Take the right heel towards the right buttock. And if you want a bit more, you can come into wild thing. So flip the dog. Extend the left leg out. The right knee, the right sole of the foot comes behind you. You lift up the chest. Right arm expands out to the side. Flip back. If you are in wild thing, lift the heel, the leg up nice and high. And then draw it back down again. So you're back in your downward facing dog. Inhale, repeat on the left side. Lift the left leg up. See if you can keep the hips level with each other. Shoulders level with the front of the mat. Lift now the left leg up a bit higher. Can you keep the shoulders level? Take your gaze underneath the left armpit. Good. A bit short in space here. So now we're going to bend at the left knee, and if that's enough for you, leave it there. Otherwise, come and flip the dog into wild things. Extend the right leg out. Weight bearing through the right arm. Lift up through the chest, left hand goes behind you. Nice openness. Lovely. Come back around. Downward facing dog. Come onto your knees. Take them hip width apart, mat width apart. Lower down towards the heels and extend the arms out in front of you. Keep the gaze lifted. This is an active wide leg child's pose. Come up onto the fingertips. When you feel your breath steady, draw yourselves forwards onto the mat. So you're nice and long, prone on the mat. Now we're going to come into Sphinx. So you can keep you on your forearms if you like. Take your elbows about mat width apart and let your hands come over out to the side. And I'd like you just to rock your pelvis into the floor. So really release down there into the ground. Your legs might be mat width apart too. Maybe just release your legs, rock them side to side. If you want a little bit more, expand your arms, lift up off your forearms. If you feel you're getting more into the lower back there, wriggle through the bum, release any tension, lift and peel your ribs away from the earth. Gorgeous. Come back down and then bring your fingertips just underneath the shoulders. Lie back down and have a little wriggle through the spine. So you might be going into slightly depleted areas, slightly stiff areas. Any sense of movement through here is going to really refresh, revitalize, and lubricate your vertebra. But I want you to notice what's changing all the time you're changing here. So what's changing and what do you need to do to adapt to those changes, or how can you best adapt to those changes? So counter postures or releasing or moving into the new space, that's a really nice response to these postures. So here we go with the back bending. We're going to continue with Cobra. So inhale, draw the elbows into the side body, zip the legs together, push the toes down into the mat, and lift the knees off the ground. Now I'd like you to bring your focus to your pelvis, push your pelvis into the ground. Think about almost that you're curling it under as you inhale, draw the navel in so you're strong in the navel, and then test if you're using your navel and your back muscles to keep you up. Relax your bum, even make your bum like jelly with your hands. Bring your palms back to the front, hold it. 5, how's your breathing? If you're at the edge, can you slightly move away from it? Remember 80%. Lovely, lower down. Let's do a few dynamic cobras. Inhale, it draws us up. Push through the toes, engage, and exhale, release down. Through 2 more. One more. Lovely. Let your toes come together, your heels fall out, your palms go down to your side, and your right ear comes to the mat. Just simply relax. See where you can find places in you that are changing. How does that change feel? What are the sensations that you have? What are you feeling right now? There's probably no way you can verbalize what you feel, everything that you're feeling right now, which is absolutely fine. Feeling really emotional, like all these emotions bring up emotions, and being comfortable with that is really strong and brave. So as we go deeper into back bends, we're likely to release a little bit more each time. Now bring yourselves back to the cobra position. So you've got your legs zipped together. Draw your pelvis around your pelvis so you can engage and almost get a sense of lifting your navel away from the mat. Press the toes into the ground, lift the knees up. Keep the chest lifted with the spine, so relax the glutes, and then see if you can interlace your fingers behind your back and draw your chest away from the ground. Again, think about peeling your ribs off the floor, and perhaps you want to draw your legs up at the same time too. It's this variation of locust pose. Don't want you to close the back of your neck, so keep your neck long, keep your gaze forward. Now your glutes will be a bit engaged as you lift the legs up, and the legs might only be lifting a centimeter, a millimeter, it's fine. Just almost get that sense of flying. The breath will be shorter as you're lying on your front, your rib cage is compressed. Lovely, lower down. Release the left ear to the mat, draw the toes together, the palms up to the floor, maybe a little away from your body. A prone Shavasana. Maybe wriggle out your body, release. Close your eyes and see what you think you need to do. Can you be aware from the inside out what you need? That's really what I'm hoping you'll learn through this practice. This is yoga. It's to be aware from the inside. It's not just a physical practice, it goes deeper than that, it's spiritual too. And the awareness, it goes beyond what you need physically to what you need for your soul too. Right, lovely. So what I'd like us to do now is just draw up the left knee and see if you can catch it with the left hand. See if you can draw the left heel towards the left glute. Maybe you can catch it with the right hand too. So we're not lifting the chest as yet, we're just stretching through the quadriceps. Exhale and swap sides. So the right heel comes towards the right glutes and drawing that in towards you, stretching through. So I don't want the next posture to be shocking or too much for you to take on, but I do want you to feel ready for it. So now bend up both knees and catch the feet from the outside in either hand. Bring your focus now to your knees, that your knees are drawing together, and you may already feel like it's tempting to roll the shoulders away from you, externally rotate and lift through the chest. But right now, my quadriceps are very much firmly on the ground. What I want you to do, if you feel like you're ready to kick a little bit more into this back bend, is take a deep inhalation, and when you exhale, kick up. So draw the knees together, kick up into the hands, and feel that sense of lift through the quadriceps. Your chest will just come naturally, your chest will rise. You don't have to do too much about that. Kick into the hands. Inhale, lift the knees up, and exhale. Don't try and replicate some photo you've seen on Instagram. I want you to feel this from the inside. When you're ready, you can release from the posture. And we're going to come into child's pose. Traditional child's pose, so lift up and back. Your knees come together. You sit down on your heels. And you can make a pillow with your palms, or you can extend the arms out behind you. Release and relax down into the mat. So we have natural cycles of opening and closing, and these counter postures, they can replicate that sensation like night and day. We can feel open and receptive, and sometimes we need to go into ourselves. So if at any point you need to take child's pose, Just do that if it feels right for you. Flexibility in practice is not just about being able to touch your toes in a forward fold, it's about being able to respond to what you feel you need, going beyond that sensation that we have to do what we're told all the time, okay, from an external source like me. Okay, I'm just trying to feed you with the information, the prompts that have led me to be more confident in exploring what I need. We're all different though, so this is instruction, but it's not dictatorship. Okay, so we're going to now come into Camel Pose, Estrasmus. If you are beginner to intermediate, you may still feel like you want to tuck your toes up so that your heels are lifted, which means it's a slightly less far to reach back into your back bend. If you're slightly more advanced, or if you're feeling a little bit more mobile in the spine today, you can untuck the toes and reach back for the heels in that way. So very much like earlier on, we're going to take the palm either side of the spine, fingertips point down, and I want your heels, pardon me, your hips to be directly above your knees. So that L shape, or reverse L shape that you get there, you can see it in the way that you're practicing now with your screen. It could be really a good prompt actually. It could be a good way for you to catch your alignment and make sure that you are keeping safe in your practice. So here we're going to inhale. You can already feel the length in the front body and the chest. And exhale. So as you exhale, you may start to lean slightly back with your upper spine, your thoracic spine, but the hips, they stay pushing forwards. You are not collapsing into your lower spine, okay? So your palms are there to help that resistance, okay? There's a lot of weight coming through your palms now. That's what's going through your spines. Be kind and gentle to your practice. Remember, 80%. So what you could do now is release your right hand down to your right heel. Can you catch it? Then bring your focus back to your hips and push your hips forwards. Lovely. To keep the sense of lift, I'd like you to lift your left arm up before you bring it down to your left heel. So you really lift up through the chest as you reach back. Now, draw your chin in towards your chest. You haven't seen that much in your Instagram photos, okay? What I don't want you to do is let your head drop back and you lose your neck, okay? You lose the spinal command in your neck. You can lift your gaze up to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Now this is a very open posture and it can release a lot of emotions. This emotionality is really human. We need to accept all emotions before we can connect really thoroughly and genuinely with other people. See if you can stay with this pose just a little longer. Then come out really gently, one by one, palm up to the back. Exhale. I'd like you to sit your sit bones down to your heels. You can stick your bums out a little bit to get there. And just take a moment or two to get your breath back in an upright spine. So we're not going to go into a forward rounded spine just yet to counter pose. I'd like you to recalibrate in this upright position. How nice is that? When you really have a moment to absorb what you do. So often we focus on the doing and not much on the reflecting on what we're doing or the absorbing benefits of what we're doing. So I'm just turning to face you now. I'd like you to inhale. If at any point sitting on your knees like this becomes uncomfortable, you can come to a cross-legged position. Okay. Inhale, draw the arms up, look up. Exhale down to the center. 2 more times. Inhale, draw up, look up. Exhale down the midline. 1 more time. Inhale, draw up, look up. Exhale, draw down the midline. Lovely. I'd like you to draw your right arm up and then bend at the elbow so that it comes down behind the back. Your left arm is over to the left side and then swoop it underneath. So we're looking at reaching behind the back. Now I'll show you what's going on here. I've been practicing yoga since I was 15, so that's longer than I care to say. And it means that I've got quite a good range of motion and I can reach my hands. Okay, I can hold on. You don't have to. You can hold on to your t-shirt. You could hold on to a tea towel. Okay. Go with what is right for you and come back to that 80%. 100% commitment, 80% commitment to the physical asana, and that 20% is reserved for ahimsa, the yama and the niyama. There's 7 other limbs of practice of yoga. One of them, 2 of those are the yama and the niyama. One of those is ahimsa, which is non-harm. Don't hurt yourselves. Another one is a parigraha, so don't reach all the time. Try and find ease, challenge within what you have already. Lovely. So you want your elbow, particularly your right elbow, to draw back and open so your chest feels nice and open. Let's draw the hands down. Then draw the right arm across the body, catch it in the left arm, and then look over to the right side. Enjoy the nice stretch in the shoulder. Great. Turn both palms down, cross the hands in front of you, and then draw up at the elbows, lift the elbows, inhale. Close your eyes again. I want you to see where you feel the breath. Inhale and exhale. Drop deep down into yourselves. Find a connection with something that feels like it's always there for you. And as you exhale on the next breath, really huddle into that space. So draw the elbows in towards the belly and round the back over. Roll down. Then inhale, draw up. And draw the arms out to the side into the cactus. And then we're going to reverse. So the left elbow bends down, the right elbow bends up. Draw the left elbow back, draw the right elbow back. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Keep it soft. Inhale. Comes the navel, draw the navel in and up. Keep long in the spine. Now this is a really challenging posture. You need to generate quite a bit of heat to get the warmth that you need to really open up areas that are used to being hunched over. If you've got tension in the shoulders. Okay. Couple more breaths. And we're going to release and then draw that left arm across the body, catch it in the right elbow, look over to the left side. And both palms face down and draw the cross of your hands in front of you. Bend up at the elbows, wrap the palms, inhale, lift the elbows up. You might well feel your shoulder blades drawing apart. Keep your neck drawing down, so your chin drawing down so your neck is long. And hopefully you are drawing your breath deep from within. Connect to that place, draw your elbows into the belly, round, forward and down. See if you can place the base of your thumb on the third eye, so the point between your brow. This generates focus and connections. This is a sense of seeing. which doesn't associate very strongly with the visual element of our lives that we routinely connect with. This is about seeing, perceiving, the sixth sense, what is around us that we speak less of. And maybe we respond less to, but we want to build our responsiveness to our instincts. Let's inhale and draw up. Ah, lovely. Release the palms down now. We've been on our knees for quite a long time, so let's extend back into plank. One leg and then the other. Send the heels away from you, or feel the blood come rushing back to your knees. Oh, that's good. Lovely. Then we're going to draw. Oh, I just need to wriggle through. Maybe you do too. Let's wriggle down into a downward facing dog. Oh, yes, that's good. Then what we're going to do is come into pigeon pose. So you're going to take your right knee, draw it up to your chest, and then take it to the outer edge of the right wrist. Extend your left leg back behind you so you can tuck your left toes and use them like a rudder to extend that left leg behind you. We're going to come into a slight back bend and pigeon before we fold down into our usual variation of it. So come up onto the tripod of your fingertips and just practice with lifting up. So use the length in your arms to lift the length, lift through the front body, find the length in the front body. And if you want to, you could try lifting up the back leg. And as we did before, see if you can interlace your fingers over the back foot. Lovely. So you want to draw your back foot away from you. That will bring your upper body more upright. Find the equilibrium in the counteracting directions of the forces here. Lovely. Let's release that back leg down. Now, because you've done a back bend and your front body is longer, I should think, you may feel that you drape a little further forwards as you come down into your pigeon. So you can stack your palms to make a pillow or your hands out in front of you, whichever you prefer. Let's take a good few breaths here. Still here. Stay with it. If your mind starts to wander, bring it back. Then inhale and lift your head up off the arms and walk up. Roll over slightly onto your right hand side so you can bring your left knee forward and draw your knees together on the mat. And expand your legs a little bit further in front of you. Bring your palms just behind your shoulders, fingertips pointing down towards your heels. We're going to come into tabletop. So this is strong with the glutes, and again, open in the front body. Inhale and exhale. Lift up, drawing the knees together. Now again, I don't want you to loll your heads back and lose all the strength in your neck here. So you can maybe look with your nose pointing directly up to the ceiling. Keep the glutes engaged, hold it strong, hold it, lift, push away from the floor. Now the foundations, how are your feet doing? Soles of your feet and your palms. Are you spreading the weight evenly? Lovely, and release that down. Draw your knees into your chest. And then widen your knees a little bit. Bring your palms inside and hold onto your toes. So it's like almost like a variation of Adho Konasana, or even a squat pose, but we're going to keep really upright. So draw your chest through your arms. Good. Before we come on to pigeon on the other side. So we're going to leave the left knee up at the front of the mat and take the right knee back, right leg back. The left knee is outside the left wrist. Wriggle around a bit, see if you can get your hips level to the front of the mat. And then push away from the floor. So you're coming back into that back bend. So you can practice where you feel best with your arms. Maybe it's by your side. Ooh, that feels like I'm going to go into a split sort of situation. Just enjoy the sensation of lifting the ribs out of the hips. And then breathe into that new area, that new space that you create when you have that lift in the torso. So let's lift up the back leg. Slip sliding around here. There we go. See that you don't fall over too much towards the left-hand side. Try and bring yourself up so that you're equal on your hips. This is our peak posture. And then let's release that. Come back into a more restorative sensation in pigeon. So inhale, feel that gained length in the front body as you exhale and drape forward. It's lovely. Maybe stack your opposite palm on top and then lay your forehead down. Are you there? Are you tuned in to what changes? We change so much in each moment. On so many levels. And the more we bring our awareness to these changes, which are often beyond our command, the more comfortable, the more accepting we can be, the less resistance that we have to the changes in ourselves or indeed in others. Let's draw ourselves upright. And now let's swing the right leg over to meet the left. Now I just need to slightly change my setup. For the next posture, you might not need to. We're going to lie down on our fronts and just draw the arms, the right arm out to the side, shoulder height. Okay. And then we're going to place the left hand next to the left shoulder, maybe the right ear on the mat, lift up the left knee, place the left sole of the foot behind the right leg, and peel the body away from the floor. So this will get you a really nice stretch on the shoulder. Close your eyes again. Can you feel the changes? There's a lot of chat at the moment about going back to what was before. This relates slightly to the sense of grasping that I was talking about earlier. Reaching for something. Now, not only do we need to question if it's possible to go backwards in time, but we also need to question how necessary that is. And we need to question if can we really not find anything of value in everything we've been through? And it's those valuable moments that can often offer us a lot of hope, however insignificant they might seem in the face of the challenges, the global challenges this situation has posed. anything of value, any little point of hope can really change somebody's day, can really change somebody's life, can really change our lives. Lovely. Come out of this really, really carefully. So use your left palm to really slow down the movement as you lower your left leg down. And then we're going to extend the left hand out and reverse on the other side. So you can see what it's like on the back side. I'm using my right hand to prop up my body this time. My left ear's on the mat. Great. Roll back onto the front, and then we're going to just push up, walk the knees in, send the legs to one side. We're going to come onto our backs for Shavasana. Just before we do, I'd like you to keep your knees bent, the soles of the feet on the floor. Tickle your ankles with your fingertips. Release your body into the ground, palms down by the side. Inhale. Exhale. Then inhale, lift the arms and the hips up. Draw the arms up overhead. Hold for a few breaths. Tuck the chin into the chest, lengthen the back of the neck. Knees draw towards each other. Check that the inner edges of the feet are grounding down as well as the outer edges. What's changing? Then I'd like you to exhale your arms back down by the side and pop your palms face down to where you think your bum is going to land. As you exhale, let your bum come down onto the tops of your palms. Got it? Wriggle your bums down into the palms, release through the hips. Then let your knees fall out to the side. Have a couple of moments here in Supta Baddha Konasana. Now, this openness that we have been practicing with, you may feel vulnerable, and vulnerability can be approached with tenderness. It must be. Or it can be approached with a sort of shame, resistance. There is no shame in being vulnerable. Okay, we have to be brave to achieve anything. So I'd like you to see if you can accept the openness without shame. If you feel shame, you've got to accept that too. But just know that all the bravest people feel vulnerable. They feel fear, but they go ahead and do it anyway. Right, now we're going to slightly change this posture. I'd like you to draw the elbows a bit closer to the chest so that you can bend them up and lift up off your back. Let your head drop back this time, and then let the top of your head find the mat. So you're propped up by your forearms. If you like your legs like this, you can keep them like this. If you prefer to have your knees back together, you can bring them back together, soles of the feet on the mat. You can extend your legs away from you, perhaps even point your toes. You could perhaps even lift the legs up in the air if you feel that you've got it in you, but you just go with what you need to do for today. Come up off the head. Release the palms from underneath you. And draw your shoulders away from the ears. Let the shoulder girdle really make good contact with the ground. Then lift up your hips. Place them a little further down the mat. Let the legs come out wide, the arms come out wide. You might prefer to have the palms on your belly if you like to feel that connection with the inside of yourself. So the inner activity can often feel very alive and vibrant under the palms when you make contact with the belly after a practice. Or maybe a palm on the chest. So the 20% that you kept back from your asana, from your postures, is a 20% that you can use to cultivate attitude. We have to change, or we have to accept that we change all the time. These changes are often so minute that we don't detect them. And sometimes they're positive, and that's wonderful. And sometimes they're really challenging and produce scars that we have to wear like medals. We need to accept this. We need to develop kindness towards ourselves and how we change. And reward ourselves for our resilience. And more than that, we need to develop kindness to others and how they change and how they deal with change too. And through that, we can all connect with our individual experiences to create a picture where support is built into our communities. Allow your mind to be still and empty of any thoughts, plans. Have a rest, just for you. Feel the connection to the size, the capacity of your positive thoughts, words, and actions. And the potential that we have when we are positively connected and unified. This is yoga, to bring it all together. You may feel you prefer to rest in Shavasana a little longer. Please do so if that's true. Otherwise, draw your arms out wide so you're in a nice big star shape. Rotate your thighs in and out and loll your head left and right. Draw the knees up and roll over to one side. And gently come up to seated. And there we shall finish our practice. Namaste.